Imagine a place where just 60 years ago, there was literally no electricity, no paved roads, and zero clean drinking water, right? It was just a destitute village where locals barely scraped by hunting for pearls in the ocean, just surrounded by sand, blistering sun, and poverty. Well, in this explainer, we're going to look at how this exact stretch of sand transformed into a futuristic metropolis. I mean, we're talking the world's tallest building, man-made islands you can see from space, and cops driving Lamborghinis. It's absolutely staggering. So how did this happen? Let's unpack the real story of Dubai and figure out why the secret beneath the sand is actually about way more than just money.
Section 1. The journey from sand to miracle.
You know, our story actually starts way back in the 1800s. Long before the skyscrapers hit the sky, Dubai was just a humble fishing village that relied entirely on pearl diving. And man, locals risked their lives every single day. They were plunging 30 to 40 meters deep with absolutely no oxygen tanks. They relied on a single breath, some wooden clips on their noses, wax in their ears, and heavy stones tied to their feet just to reach the bottom. Crazy, right? This dangerous work kept them afloat for decades. But then, think about the timeline here. In 1929, the Great Depression hits the globe. And at the exact same time, Japan figures out a way to create artificial pearls. Bam! Almost overnight, Dubai's entire economy just completely collapsed. The village was pushed to the absolute brink of starvation. But when one door closes, another one opens. Fast forward to 1966, and they catch a massive lucky break. The discovery of black gold, oil, right beneath their feet.
Okay, let's shatter a huge myth right here and now. Most of us probably assume Dubai is just this oil-rich city, right? Throwing endless petrodollars at big vanity projects. But the revenue breakdown tells a completely different story. Today, oil accounts for a microscopic 1% of Dubai's total revenue. Seriously, just 1%. So the real question is, where on earth does the other 99% come from? The answer is a super heavily diversified portfolio: tourism, global trade, and world-class infrastructure. And, you know, there's a famous quote that perfectly captures exactly why they diversified so heavily. It's from Dubai's former ruler, Sheikh Rashid, and they actually still teach this in business schools today. He basically said his grandfather and father rode camels, he drives a Mercedes, his son drives a Land Rover, but his great-grandson will be back to riding a camel. He realized super early on that, hey, the oil is going to run out eventually. Relying on a finite resource would literally send future generations right back into the desert. So instead of just blowing that early oil cash, they aggressively invested it. They built massive airports, the world's largest man-made ports, and these crazy tax-free zones that just acted like a magnet for global businesses.
Section 2. The futuristic, modern Dubai.
So that visionary investment, that is exactly what birthed the staggering modern marvels that make up the city's skyline today. And look, we can't talk about modern Dubai without talking about this unbelievable number: 828 meters, the Burj Khalifa, the tallest building in human history. It has 163 floors, and it literally took 12,000 workers every single day to build it. But here is a fact that absolutely blew my mind. The building is so incredibly tall that the sun actually sets 2 to 3 minutes later at the top than it does down on the ground. That means during the holy month of Ramadan, people living up on those top floors technically have to wait a few extra minutes to break their fast compared to folks on the ground level. No way, right?
And right at the base of the Burj Khalifa, the records just keep on piling up. Every night, a massive 30-acre lake transforms into the Dubai Fountain. It's the world's largest choreographed fountain system, shooting water 150 meters into the air, dancing to everything from Arabic pop to Bollywood hits, and it is completely free to watch. Then, right next door, you've got the Dubai Mall. This place is so colossal you could fit 200 football fields inside it, over 10,200 shops, plus an indoor aquarium housing 33,000 marine animals, all held back by this gargantuan 32-meter-wide acrylic panel. You are literally standing in a shopping mall watching sharks swim by. It's wild.
But see, Dubai isn't just about building the biggest stuff. They really want to touch the future itself. Just think about the Museum of the Future. It's this glowing steel ring with absolutely zero straight lines and no corners. And that intricate Arabic poetry on the outside, those aren't just decorations. They're actually the building's windows. When you step inside this architectural masterpiece, you aren't looking at history. Actually, scratch that. You're literally transported to a simulated year 2071, complete with space station tours and a digitally recreated Amazon rainforest. Then there's the engineering impossibility that literally astounded NASA astronauts. The Palm Jumeirah. It's the world's largest artificial island, shaped exactly like a massive palm tree. To build this out in the open ocean, they had to move 120 million cubic meters of sand and 7 million tons of rock. And the craziest part of all of this? There is zero concrete holding this foundation together. None. They used GPS satellite precision just to make sure they got the perfect shape. Today it's home to ultra-luxury villas and that famous pink Atlantis hotel, which even has rooms entirely underwater.
Section 3. 200-year-old Old Dubai.
Now, it is really easy to get lost in all that glass and steel, but if you step away from the futuristic skyline, you drop right into the historic heart of the city, a place where time basically stands still. This is the shore of the Dubai Creek, where our whole story began with the pearl divers. Walking through the Al Fahidi historical neighborhood feels like jumping into a time machine. You're completely surrounded by these narrow mud brick alleys and coral stone walls. But the really fascinating part are those square towers on top of the roofs. Long before modern power grids and AC, locals invented these brilliant structures called wind towers. They naturally caught passing breezes and funneled that cool air right down into the homes below. It was this genius, zero-electricity natural air conditioning system that kept people cool even when it was a blistering 45 degrees outside.
And while folks are spending thousands on helicopter tours, the absolute best experience in Dubai costs practically nothing. For just 1 dirham, which is basically a fraction of a dollar, about 23 rupees, you can take a ride on an Abra. It's a traditional wooden boat that's been ferrying people across the Dubai Creek for centuries. It is such a surreal visual experience. I mean, in a single frame, sitting on this little wooden boat, you're looking at 200-year-old mud houses on one side of the creek, and then you turn around and see the towering, futuristic Burj Khalifa gleaming in the distance on the other. Talk about a contrast.
Once you step off that Abra in Dira, prepare to be completely blinded by the gold souk. This market has over 300 shops literally dripping with pure gold. And sitting right at the center of it all is the Najma Taiba. It's a Guinness World Record-holding ring made of a staggering 64 kilograms of solid gold. It's so massive, you'd honestly think it was made for a giant. And keep in mind, Dubai is known globally as the City of Gold for a very good reason. The government strictly regulates this market, meaning the purity of every single piece you see is completely guaranteed. Then, just a 2-minute walk from the gold souk, your nose is going to guide you straight to the spice souk. It is an absolute sensory explosion. The air is just thick with the mixed aromas of cinnamon, saffron, dried roses, and frankincense. You've got these colorful sacks of spices lining the narrow walkways like a painter's palette. The shopkeepers are super friendly, but hey, quick tip, that first price they quote you, it's really just an invitation. Haggling isn't just accepted here, it's practically a sport, so definitely play along.
Section 4. Desert Thrill and Nights.
So just a 45-minute drive outside the glittering metropolis, those paved roads just end, and an endless ocean of golden Arabian sand begins. The desert's calling, right? This is where you get to experience the famous desert safari. Picture this, you're strapped into a massive 4x4, tires deflated slightly for grip, and your driver is treating these towering sand dunes like a literal roller coaster. It's called dune bashing. The car tilts at these wild 45-degree angles, slipping and sliding all the way down the sand. A quick word to the wise here, definitely eat a very light meal beforehand. But after that adrenaline rush, the pace totally slows down. You can hop on a camel as the sand turns this deep orange and purple at sunset, and then cap off the evening with a barbecue dinner, henna, and some traditional tenora dancing right under a canopy of stars.
Head back into the city, though, and the night brings a completely different kind of magic. The Dubai Marina has this stunning 7-kilometer pedestrian walk, lined with luxury yachts on one side and glowing skyscrapers on the other. And beyond the marina, you've got the Global Village, this massive cultural festival that combines the food, shopping, and architecture of 90 different countries. But perhaps the most mind-bending of all is the Miracle Garden. I mean, they are keeping over 150 million flowers alive in the middle of a scorching desert. They even built a life-size Airbus A380 entirely out of blooms. It's just the ultimate symbol of Dubai taking the impossible and making it possible.
Section 5. Dubai Smart Travel Tips. Okay, now that we've covered the sights, let's get into some highly practical advice for your own journey to this city of extremes. First and foremost, timing is absolutely everything. The best time to visit, hands down, is during the winter months, from November to March. The weather is a gorgeous, super pleasant 20 to 30 degrees Celsius. On the flip side, you strictly want to avoid going during the peak summer months of June and July. The temperature regularly skyrockets past 45 degrees. You wouldn't actually be sightseeing. You'd just be sprinting from one air-conditioned building to the next.
And here is the absolute best-kept secret about visiting the city of luxury. You can completely do it on a middle-class budget. Seriously, you do not need to rely on expensive taxis. Dubai has this hyper-efficient driverless metro system that connects almost all the major landmarks. Just grab a rechargeable NOL card and you're good to go. Plus, you can string together all those world-class free attractions. Think about it, the incredible Dubai Fountain Show, wandering that 7-kilometer marina walk, exploring those historical alleys of old Dubai, and lounging on the pristine sands of JBR Beach. Every single one of those costs absolutely nothing.
So, we've checked out the 163-floor futuristic marvels, and we've wandered through the 200-year-old mud brick alleys. I'm going to leave you with this question to ponder. If you were dropped into the city tomorrow, where would you go first? The towering Burj Khalifa or the historic Dubai Creek? Ultimately, what we can take away from this explainer is that Dubai's destiny wasn't changed merely by some lucky discovery of oil. It was transformed by unstoppable vision, courage, and a relentless drive to take a destitute stretch of sand and turn it into an enduring global miracle. Until next time, keep learning and keep exploring.